morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AES and welcome to my YouTube channel. I want to talk about this topic extensively for a very long time, but I was waiting for the right opportunity to do it. I have been playing video games ever since I was 4 years old, with my first game being Commander Keen for the computer. Ever since I have experienced high moments and low moments as a gamer. Played some incredible titles, while broke a few controllers out of frustration. Had terrific multiplayer sessions with friends, but experienced online moments with strangers who did not like the fact that I was either lower than them on the skill pole or did not do exactly what they wanted me to do. While my impressions of playing together with others and the gaming community in general have been neutral, it was the beginning of COVID-19's entrance into our lives as a pandemic when I started making certain observations about the aforementioned group. Unfortunately, more of them are negative than positive. The goal of this video is analyzing my observations, providing some examples and context to each point, and discussing ways in which the gaming community not only can be more positive, but perceived as such by outsiders whose only opinion about the group is not so pleasing. Before we begin, there are a few guidelines that I must address. As I proceed to tarnish the reputation of the gaming community, I will admit that, in some form or fashion, I have committed most of the crimes that will be brought upon the group. I have never done them heinously, but I have partaken in the problem, so I will not pretend to be an angel in the matter. Next, even though I'm not talking about every person who plays video games, I will indeed mention specific individuals. My intentions are not to hurt them emotionally, but rather provide constructive criticism as to why they are ridiculed by a few individuals and how they can be better admired by their current fans and unknowns. Thirdly, some of the problems that will be criticized occur in other types of communities, including politics, religion, sports, and movies. I'm focusing on the gaming perspective because I'm passionate about it, and it is a gaming-based YouTube channel after all. Lastly, it is important that I say the following. Due to its structure as a list of complaints and suggestions for improvements, this critique is entirely subjective. If you disagree with the negative or positive aspects of the gaming community, let me know in the comment section and I will happily discuss the issue at hand. If you contribute to one of the issues, do not take it personally, and I'm sorry if that will end up being the case. Instead, use this opportunity to take what I say and encourage yourself to further enjoy a hobby that we all love, video games. What are my thoughts about the gaming community? Time to find out. Without further ado, let's discuss why the gaming community needs to change for everyone's sake, and we will start with the positive qualities of gamers nowadays. 1. Collective boycott when necessary. I am always flabbergasted whenever certain complaints are served as surfing boards to ride the wave of trolling or general attempt of laughter. We will get to it later. However, I am admittedly proud whenever the majority of the gaming community rises up to call out gamers and companies who are clearly in the wrong. The most prevalent two examples come from Electronic Arts, aka EA, and Sony. The former's culprit was Star Wars Battlefront 2, which was released in 2017 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. At the time of its release, it was bombarded with microtransactions that would clearly place to halt the pacing of gaining access to unlockables, and in return, would encourage additional money spending outside of the $60 upfront payment. Not only did our collective boycott force EA to minimize the forceful impact of the title's microtransactions, but more and more content was added since then, and Battlefront 2 is now a fantastic multiplayer-centric Star Wars title. It still does not hold a candle to the original Battlefront 2 in my opinion, but it is incomparable in terms of quality and quantity to the modern Battlefront 2 at its launch. As far as Sony is concerned, they recently attempted to shut down the PlayStation Online stores for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, and PlayStation Vita. It was a discouraging decision because Sony did not announce any new services or announce any new games at the time to warrant such a massive cut that it will hurt the trust of a lot of people, especially the developers who are still making titles for the PlayStation Vita. Fortunately, we as gamers barked back at Sony and they reversed their decision for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. They stood behind the deletion of the PSP Online store, but I'm personally okay with it because the PlayStation Portable was released on March 24th, 2005, over 16 years ago. Other examples of this positive community attribute can be attributed to calling out CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous state at release on consoles, the insinuation by outsiders that gamers are quote-unquote basement dwellers, and the unproven assumption that video games lead to violence. When the gaming community aims their verbal pitches and forks in the right direction, it is a truly sight to behold. Number 2. Size is typically reciprocal of kindness. When I follow streamers on Twitch, I take 3 questions into consideration. Is the streamer likable and positive? Is his or her community likable and positive? And does the streamer sometimes play games that I like or do not mind watching? If a streamer hits all 3 marks, I cast my vote without a question. I have been on Twitch as a streamer or a viewer for about 7 years, and as time has gone by, I noticed that, generally speaking, the smaller streamers are more preferable than the bigger streamers. There are a couple of reasons for it. On one hand, the chat during a big streamer session practically keeps to themselves. You cannot really hold a conversation, and typically the chat gets bombarded with the streamer's emotes to the point that you couldn't have a conversation even if you found someone who wanted to have one. On the other hand, the streamer does not seem appreciative of support unless he or she receives a big set of gifted subscriptions, a large cheer, or a massive donation. I have seen several big streamers who are flooded with positive support, and once the streamer is about to end, they briefly and anonymously shout out the supporters and conclude the broadcast. If someone receives 10,000 subscriptions, I do not expect the streamer to stop what they're doing and do long shoutouts to 10,000 people. I do think it will benefit the entertainer though to simply say thank you so much for the subscription, I really appreciate it, and continue with the game or whatever they're doing during the broadcast. When it comes to the small streamers, they normally do not have to worry about the gauntlet of positive support. However, to me they seem a lot more appreciative and personable than the big streamers. Combined with the 3 qualifications I previously mentioned, I will always go and check out their streams prior to watching one of the people that I will name when we discuss the negative aspects of the gaming community. Speaking of shoutouts, I would like to name drop a few streamers that I would highly recommend as positive, relaxing, and most importantly, genuine individuals. They include NDD20, The Chugs, and Megan Linius. When you are part of a community like theirs, it feels like you are part of an online group of friends who always have your back and you will always have theirs. Number 3, online cooperation. We all remember the good old days of Call of Duty Modern Warfare multiplayer on the Xbox 360. The way that the players would compliment each other when they receive a victory and nicely encourage each other to improve their skills for next time. They were better times. Simpler times.
Fucking game is fucking.
Shoot a gun, dog. Learn how to fucking shoot a gun, you
fucking
pussy.
riot shield. What else am I gonna
Oh,
fucking
riot shield!
Kidding aside, I appreciate it when gamers or strangers to one another at first work together to solve a problem in a given title. Earlier this year, I attempted to earn the Platinum Trophy in Far Cry 4. One of the trophies asked me to complete a match of each of the 3 multiplayer modes. There was one small issue. Nobody was playing the game. Thankfully, I gathered some of my viewers, encountered several other gamers, and together we helped each other earn the trophy. It was magnificent. The other example happened a few weeks ago with Godfall for the PlayStation 5. As part of the hunt for the PlayStation Platinum Trophy, I had to complete 20 levels of the Ascended Tower of Trials. Playing by myself, I was not able to reach the 3rd stage, let alone the 20th stage. One night, I streamed Godfall and someone came to my stream. We talked about the game and agreed to help each other reach the 20th level of the Ascended Tower of Trials. To be fair, we have not gotten around to taking care of business. With that being said, I appreciate the initial conversation and how both of us were willing to cooperate to conquer a challenge. Whether it is for mutual benefit or just for fun, online cooperation is a huge plus, and it exterminates the stereotype that gaming is not a social activity. Number 4, no strings attached for giveaways. It is the smallest of the compliments of the gaming community, but I am floored whenever a streamer, big or small, conducts a giveaway without any expectation to receive something in return. There will be people who show up solely for the giveaway, but the humbled intention behind the giveaway itself shows true positive character, and I will always respect people who are blessed with overwhelming support and go out of their way to bounce some of the support back for their respective communities. Now it is time to switch to the dark side of the gaming community. Prepare yourselves as I have a lot to say on the matter, and please keep in mind the guidelines that I provided at the beginning of the video. Let's begin. Number 1. The influence of Metacritic. Have you ever watched a movie that a lot of people dislike but you like? Have you ever played a video game that a lot of people like but you dislike? I almost guarantee that you answered with a powerful yes to at least one of those questions. It is one of the many issues with Metacritic, a website that congregates reviews from gaming journalists and the gamers themselves. It is a problem that actually affects reviews in general. I do not discredit critiques since they bring a title's major hindrances to light. BioWare's Anthem was called out at launch for numerous game and server crashes by reviewers, which I'm sure made gamers grateful. Remember the first two questions I asked earlier? Here's another question. Why are gamers so concerned about what other people think of certain games when it is their own opinion that is the most vital? Will a score of 90 as opposed to 100 change your mind when it comes to purchasing the title in question? I sure hope that it is not the case. Nowadays, it seems to me that reviews, and in particular Metacritic scores, are solely used to start arguments. How many times have you watched a Twitter user compare the Metacritic score of a recently released PlayStation exclusive to a critically acclaimed Microsoft game for jokes? How many times have you seen a Twitter user post a Metacritic score of a game just to state that any score below 90 is world-ending? When it comes to reviews, they should be used to 1. Inform the customer about the possible purchase, and 2. Call out companies and developers when there is a consensus that a shady practice was carried out by them. If you use Metacritic and reviews to start a one-sided debate when you and you alone are right, then I cannot take you or your opinion seriously. Number 2. Inability to agree to disagree. This point relates to the previous criticism, but it is no less truer. Whenever you attempt to read the comments under a gaming-related tweet, YouTube video, or whatever the case may be, you enter a multifaceted war. Either the comments attack the guy or gal for their opinion, or people attack folks who make a comment in support of the originator. I belonged to a specific small community in the past, where most of the members would ride the bandwagon of the group's creator and go off against a few of the members who would disagree or have another observation. While I was there, I remember when I tried to play Resident Evil 2 Remake and I heavily criticized the game for the terrible backtracking due to the questionable inventory system. You should have seen the comments that I received over a different opinion. I understand that these counter-arguments can fall under the category of trolling, but we also need to learn how to agree to disagree without experiencing bloodshot eyes out of anger over a gaming-related opinion. Number 3. The appeal of negativity over positivity. I would like to preface the following remark by saying the following. If the referenced content creators are able to make money with their current course of action and attitude, God bless. I never hate over anyone's success. But that being said, the criticism here will be geared towards the people that support said individuals. Now, this is the point that I'm trying to make. It seems to me that most of the attraction by viewers to content creators is transfixed on negativity over positivity. Whether it is the creator's attitude or the behavior of the community itself, many people find amusement by how the entertainer treats supporters with whom they disagree, or how the people in the chat constantly type troll-based comments with the purpose of either garner attention, belittle someone, or start an argument. Allow me to bring up 2 examples to illustrate my point. I will not talk about them specifically, but instead I will show you clips of what they have said or done in the past. Check them out.
Yes, I love the insane amount of fucking nobody scrubs in the stream chat. Oh, combo means mashing. Yes, he's mashing special moves that actually hit multiple times for combos. There's no actual combo he did in that match. Not once did he actually legitimately do a standard combo. It was all scrubby bullshit. It was all just mash a special move. Last few matches here, everybody, so anyone wants to get in any final cheers or tips or whatever, go right ahead.
When I should be getting it on the day of release. Okay? Shut the fuck up, Phil. I say what I want.
So you all know why all the cuts are there. Why there's silent spots in my videos. Now you know. Now you can stop thinking, it's because he lost on that part of it. Try not to laugh. That's why it was cut out. No. Why don't you just think a little bit?
Anyone ever uses the excuse, it's just a game, I'm gonna lose my mind. Imagine telling LeBron James, Tom Brady, that when they're pissed off after losing a game, that it's just a game. Like, I'm gonna lose. Like, are you kidding me? You're so stupid. It's the competitive nature, bro. It's about respect, bro. It's about pride. It's so much bigger than a video game. And anyone that ever uses the excuse it's just a game is a horrible human being and is lazy. You're a lazy human being.
It saddens me that people who have similar attitudes or attempt to replicate said attitude receive more attention than other content creators who only have 20 to 50 supporters, but would never in their right mind would think about making some of the comments you just heard. Ultimately, it is your money and I will not tell you what to do with it. That being said, I am just pointing out how negativity is more quote-unquote attractive on social media than positivity. There are exceptions to the rule such as CoCarnage and Sweet Anita, but the rule sadly overwhelms the ideal online environment. Number 4, online harassment. Previously, I mentioned how we as a community and human beings need to understand how to agree to disagree. In most cases, the inability to do so results in arguments. They are aggravating and annoying, but they are strictly verbal and focus on gaming. When it transcends, it becomes either physical or flat out abusive, then the gaming community takes 10 steps back instead of a single step forward. I already talked about it in other videos, but I figured that it would be a great time to bring it up in today's discussion. In the past 7 years on Twitch, I was on the receiving end of trolling and bullying, as well as a possible attempt of a DDoS attack, which would reveal my personal information to individuals who are undoubtedly irresponsible and untrustworthy with said information. With that being said, these instances do not come close to some of the online harassment that I have witnessed over the past 7 years towards other people. Jason Schreier, who was a writer over the website Kotaku at the time, received death threats because he reported on the delay of the video game No Man's Sky. Laura Bailey, who was the voice actress for Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, received death threats. Furthermore, her baby received death threats. I will keep my real thoughts on those people out of this video. However, if you are that upset with a game that you will physically or mentally abuse someone on social media over a video game, you need to go outside and smell the roses. Unless you are professionally working on a video games are not serious. If you are heated over a video game or someone's harmless opinion on a video game, maybe it is time to find another hobby. Just a thought. Number 5, the nature of fanboys or fangirls. If we are friends, I want you to always let me know when I'm wrong about something. The difference between this situation and gaming fanboys or fangirls is thus. The first scenario refers to buddies, the second scenario does not. I do not understand why some folks are completely infatuated with blindly defending a video game or company, regardless of the good or bad deeds they do. I will be the first to admit that I am a Telltale The Walking Dead fanboy. I love the franchise and I'm working on a critique that will be released next month. Some of my viewers have called me a Telltale fanboy, but I personally think that Telltale Back to the Future and Telltale Minecraft Story Mode are awful. Furthermore, if someone tells me that Telltale The Walking Dead is terrible, I will just shrug it off and say, you do what you have to do. An example of a clear fanboy is Kids Move, who is an Xbox fanboy. The companies that these fanboys and fangirls white knight are not their personal friends, who will have their backs at the time of need. These companies want your money. That is it, and it is expected. It is similar to an abusive partner scenario. Think about it. You live with a partner that you love for years. One day you catch your partner cheat on you. Instead of confronting your partner about it, you say to yourself, I love him or her so much. If it happened to me, I would definitely have a discussion about what transpired. It will be more than a discussion, rest assured, but it is besides the point. You can be fans of companies or products, but you can also criticize said companies or products when you do not like something about them or what they do. Number 6, acceptable complaints versus unwarranted remarks. When No Man's Sky came out, gamers realized that many of the promised features were absent. They called out Sean Murray, excluding the death threats. The developer became humble and, together with his team, improved the product. The complaint about these invisible features is acceptable. When The Last of Us 2 came out, I have seen countless unfounded videos that claim The Last of Us Part 2 was following an SJW agenda with the narrative. That remark is unwarranted. I have said it before and I'll say it again. In my opinion, gamers have become overly critical ever since the ongoing pandemic started. The more you complain about anything and everything when it comes to a video game, the less will change because developers and companies will treat you guys as kids who need to get exactly what they want. If you have not read the story about the boy who cried wolf, I suggest you do so because it nicely complements this part of the video. Allow me to refer to one more concept in the video game industry: Returnal. It is expected that you play the game, you die, and start over, furthering your skill along the way. Ever since the title was released at the end of last month, I have heard many individuals who are asking for a manual save ability. Okay, I will give you that feature. In return, however, I am going to ask for a difficulty setting in From Software games like Dark Souls and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I promise that the latter will be frowned upon, while the former is requested because some folks do not understand the principle of the genre itself. I will say that there should be an autosave for every world in response to gamers who are new to the genre and want to experience the newest PlayStation 5 exclusive title. Nevertheless, it is important to understand when a complaint is warranted and when a remark is unwarranted, both as the giver and the receiver. Number 7, being unreasonably offended or critical. It directly relates to the last comment, but I want to bring up a couple of specific scenarios where gamers have been unreasonably critical. The offensive side points to the criticism against The Last of Us 2, but you can go check out my Last of Us project on my channel if you want further details. Let's shift our focus to the instances at hand, the first of which is Marvel's Avengers. The amount of enemies is disappointing. Yes, the endgame content can be much better. All of these being said, why is Marvel's Avengers regarded as one of the worst video games of 2020 when it plays a lot like one of the more critically acclaimed superhero-based games of all time? If you change the camera to the top-down view and have all of the heroes be in a closer radius to each other, doesn't Avengers resemble Marvel Ultimate Alliance? The same basic combat system, a similar leveling up system with unlockable moves. Marvel Ultimate Alliance is a superior version of Avengers, no doubt, but I was a tad confused when Avengers was bashed for features that were praised while reviewing Marvel Ultimate Alliance. The other example is much more well known and it is regarded as Puddlegate. It aims at a comparison between the E3 2017 demo of Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 and the same exact scene upon release. Many gamers were complaining about a downgrade, as if to say that one example is insultingly uglier than another. If you want a true example of a visual downgrade, compare the debut trailer and retail version of the original Watch Dogs. That's a downgrade. Yes, the quote-unquote puddle looks a tad less shiny in the retail version of Spider-Man, but it is by no means a reason to go off the deep end on social media. Remember, the boy who cried wolf. That is all. Lastly, at number 8, uncertain trolling. The final criticism against the gaming community focuses on a gray area: trolling. I troll. Chances are that you troll from time to time as well. Trolling in general is not a problem and it is just a part of social media, for better or worse. The issues surface when it is uncertain when a comment is an example of trolling or it is a deliberate verbal attack on someone. It is difficult to find the difference online because sarcasm is extremely problematic to locate in a text format. It is also a dilemma when you find a community that trolls 99% of the time, leading to situations where a deliberate attack is executed and most of the community considers it as trolling. It relieves the troll, but it harms the target. In a world where mental diseases like anxiety and depression are common, it is essential that you make your purpose known, either at that moment or ahead of time when you troll. Otherwise, you are taking a chance to do more harm than good. On a side note, but related to trolling, be careful when you troll if you yourself suffer from anxiety, depression, or another mental illness. If you need to troll and possibly make people feel bad to make yourself feel good, then you are not progressing with your state of mind and can become hypocritical, since you may be the cause that someone suffers from the same mental disorder that you are trying to disregard. At the end of the day, I will always love video games and be a gamer. At 65 years of age, I can see myself play the next God of War, Halo, or Mario title without any worries about criticisms from gamers and non-gamers alike. Nevertheless, I do not like where the current gaming community is heading. Every time I log on to the various social media platforms and look at the comments for gaming related posts, I am disappointed by the apathy of sharing the love for video games. It is replaced by childish attempts at gaining attention by either making fun of various video game related opinions or crying wolf about gaming related topics that do not warrant the outcry. I'm not saying that you should take gaming super seriously like Ninja from Twitch attempted to convey to his critics. I do not want every gaming opinion to be evaluated under a microscope. I want us to enjoy gaming and allow others to enjoy their experiences with video games. The folks who have gaming as a hobby should not be concerned with sharing their love for it. Honestly, if you are someone who downplays a person's gaming taste or comment with the intention of making them feel bad, I highly suggest that you seek other forms of entertainment or perhaps another hobby. I'm not telling you to live a happy-go-lucky life where everyone agrees with everyone. If you disagree with someone, that's fine. However, simply say what you want to say in a way that tells me the following: we can agree to disagree. I do not expect the gaming community to change for the better. I expect to be clowned over my criticisms here. However, if I convince at least one person to change their ways and treat gaming as a form of fun as opposed to empowerment of self-ego, then my mission is accomplished. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. What are your thoughts about the gaming community? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.